Hello friends, so today we're going to be painting your backgrounds for your final Sumi paintings. And we're going to use what we call wet on wet watercolor with techniques and then add some salt on top to make this really awesome texture and designs in your background. So the first thing that you should have done is write your name on your paper. We're going to be using nice watercolor paper today, so it is thicker and you need to make sure you're being very careful with it. So once your name is on the back, I'm going to come around and actually spray your artwork with some water. This is going to make sure that your background is wet, so you don't have to get it wet with your paintbrush. So I'm going to give it a few sprays here, just to make sure my background's nice and wet. Now, what we're going to be doing is using liquid watercolor to add all different designs and colors in our backgrounds. If you look at my painting here, I do not have stripes or anything that looks like a pattern. I just mixed all different colors throughout my background, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. Once your paper has been sprayed, you can open your watercolors. Because they're liquid, be very careful when you take those lids off. Nice and slow with the friends at your tables. Okay, so I'm ready to get started painting now. Remember, dip, wipe, blot it on your towel if Mr. Brush is dripping. Now I can pick whatever colors I want to start with, and I think I'm going to start with purple. And this is what's really cool. My paper is already wet, so watch what happens when I just tap a little bit of color on my paper. It's going to start to spread by itself. You can see it's starting to make those lines and actually spread across my paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just mix all different colors around my paper, but I'm going to try to mix them next to each other and not on top of each other. So I might do yellow next, mix it up a little bit, wipe it on the side if I get too much paint in my brush, maybe mix it right next to the purple, just a little bit. Rinse Mr. Brush out every time I get a new color, rinse, wipe, blot. Maybe I'll do orange next, wipe it on the side if I get too much paint, put that one right next to here, and watch what happens, because as I paint, watch how those colors spread, because your paper is already wet. I'm going nice and slow, making sure I'm not mixing the colors directly, I'm just painting them next to each other. If you want to mix a few, that is fine. If you want to add some polka dots, I can show you, so wipe some of that paint off. You might want to just add some polka dots around, maybe put a polka dot in the middle and watch it spread. But again, I'm not trying to make a brown color or anything like that. If you want to make it look more like a sunset, you might want to use green for the grass and then use warm colors on top. It's going to be totally up to you. So I'm going to add a few more colors to this one. Every time I get a new color, I'm rinsing out my brush. Really love this yellow. And I'm almost ready to add my salt. So just a little more. And you can see my colors are not being mixed up because I'm rinsing my brush out every time I want to switch colors. I'm almost done here. I think I'll just add a tiny bit more red on top of my paper. And I think maybe a little orange in the corner. Again, I'm not mixing my colors. Oops, I dripped a little bit there. I'm putting them next to each other, not on top of. Now what's really cool is if I really think it would be a cool detail, I might want to add just a few dots of other colors because my paint is already wet, so I can actually add a few dots and watch them spread. Almost like fireworks or like a flower growing. So you can see they start to make almost spikes. Now, once my whole paper is filled up with color, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little salt in your hand. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of salt in my hand here. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to use your pointer finger and your thumb, and you're going to pinch from your palm, and you're going to sprinkle on top of your background. I'm not dumping it, but look, I'm pinching a little and then sprinkling. So pinch and sprinkle. Pinch and sprinkle. And I'm just putting it all over. And I think that's probably enough for what I want it to do. And I can throw the rest of this salt into the garbage. So as it dries, you're going to end up with a really colorful and awesome design in your background. Here's my final painting, and you can see where the salt hit my watercolor. It almost made like little fireworks or little flowers that made some really cool texture in the background. So remember, friends, what we're doing today is painting our background with watercolor. Once I spray it, you can open your watercolors, paint your colors on. I would not mix them. I would paint them next to each other to get these really colorful explosions, and then you will add your salt last. Happy creating!